The Trade Union Federation is asking Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to meet with them to discuss what they say are critical issues affecting the country. The federation, made up of the umbrella labour bodies JTUM, NATUC and FITON, journeyed to the office of the Prime Minister in St. Clair this morning to hand-deliver a letter containing their request. Peter Christopher reports.
2 weeks after they marched through the streets of Port Spain, the Trade Union Federation showed up on the doorstep of the office of the Prime Minister in St. Clair. They came to deliver a letter, hoping that this would stir the Prime Minister to meet with them.
But it also is indicating Labour's intention to be collaborative and to meet with those in high office, particularly the Prime Minister, who has the responsibility for the entire government and for governance in Trinidad and Tobago, for us to meet with them to chart a way forward.
The members of the union read out the letter to the media, citing several of their concerns. They included the issue of rising crime and the high murder rate, health care concerns, the cost of living and hardship for pensioners and retirees, the wage freeze and mass retrenchments in the state sector, as well as falling productivity levels. They say their attempts to meet with the government has fallen on deaf ears before, and they're hoping that this letter changes that.
And for us to have industrial peace, for us to have the type of stability within the industrial relations climate, and for that to transcend into higher productivity levels, which is so sorely needed at this point in time, we think that it is the responsibility of none other than the leader of government, the Prime Minister, to meet with the trade union movement and to discuss the way forward. And so the ball is in the court of the Prime Minister.
The union say they've expressed several concerns to the Minister of Labour, and very little of those concerns have been addressed.
When last, all of this thing that she's talking in the public domain, when last did you as Minister of Labour meet with the Prime Minister to discuss labour issues and the problems that we would have been relating to you at a bi-monthly basis or whenever we met? When last? Tell the public, when last you and the Prime Minister sat down and discussed all of these issues, and be truthful about it?
The Prime Minister is currently on vacation. On Monday, he will be in Tobago, where he meets with stakeholders concerning the CNA bridge problems and is expected to speak on several matters of national interest. Peter Christopher, C News.
President of FITON, Joseph Remy, says the Communication Workers Union's decision to meet with Minister of Tourism, Shamfa Kajo, does not mean the fences have been mended between the government and the unions. The FITON head stressed that the unions would remain estranged from the Tripartite Advisory Council until they are convinced they are being treated with respect.
So we'll be sitting down in our intact meeting only to discover that the government took action that is sending home 60 and 70 workers. And when the TDC, which they did not know, had a recognized majority union, they felt that they would have been able to do like what they do with Caroni Greens and the Government Information Services, all the other companies that they shut down. When we challenged it, that is when they realized that there was an RMU at the TDC. And that is what we demanded that, look, the disrespect is enough, we are going to withdraw.
He said the government had to restore a level of trust with the unions for them to return to the tripartite body.
And we are not going to just have a meeting with Shamfa Kojo and return to the ENTA. That is totally alien to this trade union movement. We are demanding that the Prime Minister, as the person who formulated this ENTA, must be the person to intervene now. And it's not that when we meet with the Prime Minister, we will just automatically return to the ENTA. There have to be conditions that must be met for us to return to the ENTA. We must return in an arena where there is respect and trust.
President General of the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union, Michael Anisette, says Minister of Works Rohan Sinanan has several questions to answer concerning recent issues surrounding the sea bridge. Speaking alongside the rest of the joint trade union movement outside the office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Anisette questioned the lack of a sea trial for the Ocean Flower 2.
A sea trial is a precondition before you enter into any agreement. That is basic in the maritime world. It is basic, it is fundamental. Okay, and then so how that is possible? But more importantly, I'm asking another question. Did the Cabinet approve the Charter Party agreement?
Mr. Anisette also raised the questions about Christian Mute's lack of experience with regard to maritime matters as he believes this would hinder his ability to investigate the ferry fiasco. He said the onus was indeed on the Minister of Works to ensure that a proper sea charter agreement was signed, and he called on the Prime Minister to ensure that his oversight was also investigated.
Into the failure of the minister to sign the charter party agreement, which would not have us in this particular situation, because we are now faced with a situation because of that failure